A woman I worked with emailed me a few years ago. I totally remember this like it was yesterday. Right in the middle of our work together, she had been spinning out for days, and she had money in her accounts, and she was convinced she was in trouble. The kind of conviction that just sits at the bottom of your stomach and follows you around. We've all felt that. So we hopped on a call and we looked, and we did not look at the bank balance, which she had been staring at for days, but we instead pulled that number into her cash flow and married the money with the time, what was actually coming in over the next few months and what was going out. And partway through our call, she went quiet. And she wrote me afterwards and said, looking at the bank accounts instead of the cash flow was exactly what was throwing her into her spin, and that we were actually far in better shape than she had been fretting about. And then bringing in the next handful of clients suddenly felt doable and actually inevitable. Same numbers. This is the thing. Same numbers the whole time. What changed in the hour that we sat together was that she could see them moving forward instead of them sitting still in a bank account. And the relief in her validation email that she had sent to me is the thing I want to talk about today. And I can't tell you how many times this happens, where we stare at our bank accounts and look at those numbers standing still, placing all the things in our head that are moving in and out of them onto the paper, almost in a sense of projecting. And the money at the time is never really the problem. What is missing is the ability to pull that money forward and to see that money forward. And seeing that forward is the thing that changes how everything you run in your business around money will show up. Hey, it's Christine Walsh. Welcome to Made for Money, the podcast made for women like you who know they are made for money. And I'm your host, financial coach for the past 10 years, accountant for the past 15-ish years, and previous Wall Street senior vice president turned ski bum and serial entrepreneur. I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot when it comes to money and women. This is season 2 of Made for Money. The first 13 episodes have been about my approach to money and my philosophy to money. It's an approach that's considered outside the box. It's innovative, it's thought-provoking, and it's thinking about money differently. Look, the game of money has changed, but for many of us women, our operating system and how we think about money and how we feel about money and how we act with our money hasn't kept up. And so this podcast is about changing that. So today I want to talk about cash flow, the real version of it, and the version nobody handed you. Sorry. And by the end of this podcast today, you're going to understand why seeing your money is a completely different thing than having it. Almost every founder has the same thing, and it feels like plenty until the moment it isn't, right? You have the information, the QuickBooks is full of it. Your bookkeeper or financial person sends your profit and loss statement every month. The numbers are there. The numbers are accurate. The numbers are the numbers. The categorizations are showing up in the way, your expenses and your revenue. And you still can't answer the one question that runs your business, which is, what can I safely do next? The data tells you where you've been with total precision, with accuracy, and it goes quiet the second you ask, where is it going? That's the whole gap. That's the gap I've seen in myself, and that's the gap I see in the women that I work with. So you're not behind here because of the math. The numbers are there. You're behind because the tools you were handed only ever looked backward, and you've been asking a backward-looking tool to make you a forward-looking decision. My mom used to have a saying, you can't go to the hardware store looking for milk. And I think that's what's actually happening here. We're actually looking at our bank balance to help us make a decision. We're looking towards our bookkeeper to help us make a decision, or we're flying blind and just going with our gut. None of it works. So we improvise. I get it. And when we look at those financials that our bookkeeper gives us, or we look at those numbers in the bank account, we actually start to judge ourselves because we're not actually getting the answer we want. So underneath all those three things is the same thing. And I'll say it straight up because nobody else does. It's fear. You're probably a little afraid of what you'll find when you really look. So you kind of look side eye at it. You look at the balance, at the bookkeeper, the financials, the P&L, anywhere except straight ahead. And I did this too. And I'll tell you when I did this. Back in 2010, so a while's back now, I was living in Steamboat Springs, which is where I still live today. I was 2,000 miles away from my family with 11 years of Wall Street behind me. I had managed institutional portfolios with 9 figures in them. I knew how to read a balance sheet in my sleep. Yet I couldn't make myself open my bank account for weeks at a time because I was afraid of a little number or big number, whatever it was, didn't really matter, that was in that bank account would show me. And more afraid of what the number was what the number would tell me about myself. This is the thing. Nobody gets away from it. Avoidance gets worse the more the not looking happens. Like the more it perpetuates itself, the avoidance, the more not looking starts to feel like proof that something is actually wrong and actually something wrong with you. So I had all the knowledge in the world and it didn't touch the avoidance. The same way, more knowledge won't touch yours because the thing in the way is never knowledge. You know. What is missing is a way to see your money that doesn't feel like you're standing in front of the judge. So the turn for me was actually bringing the issue I had with my numbers and my story and look at it and shine a light on it. There's something so potent, as many of you know as listeners, around our awareness. And my invitation around cash flow outside of the numbers, which we'll get into in episode 23 of how this works, is to actually shine a light on them and start from there changing the way that I look forward. So I started to build something that I could see forward with my money week by week, 90 days, 120 days. I started to build it out. I didn't go too far out. I just went, a few months, 6 months. But from that place, my whole body was able to release. And the thing about fear, it's a future guided emotion, the what ifs. And I used the thing I built, which was the cash flow visibility forecast, to actually allow myself to moderate that fear by seeing forward. And that's the actual thing that I want for you. Cash flow forecasting is a financial leadership skill and one I will live and die by. And once you see it that way, the whole relationship with your number shifts because you stop waiting for someone else to interpret them for you and you start leading them from yourself, which is the stewardship I often talk about in my book, Be the Queen of Your Money. So I want you to feel for where the power over your money actually sits right now. Just feel into that. It could be the economy. It could feel like a partner. It could feel like it's your bookkeeper or your CPA, someone who knows more about your business than you do or knows more about your finances than you do, which is a strange thing to feel once you let yourself feel it. And for almost everyone, the power over your money and where that actually sits is with your bank and your bank balance. The one number you check first thing in the morning like a verdict that decides what kind of day you're allowed to have. Not so good. Every one of those is the power of your own money living somewhere outside of you. And the visibility is how it comes back to you. It's that reciprocity loop. So Seeing forward changes the whole order of things. When you can see what's coming, you can prepare for it. And once you're prepared, you can decide about it. This is the key thing about the cash flow decision tools that I'm going to be bringing you through Stellium is they are decision-making tools around your finances. So once you can decide for yourself, where you stop asking the bank balance, you stop asking the bookkeeper, you stop asking your partner for the permission, that's the kind of confidence that grows directly out of being able to see. And that is available to any woman the moment she chooses to stop avoiding and pull the money forward, see that money forward. Whether or not she was ever felt that she was born with it, it doesn't really matter. So these are the three things visibility gives you, and I want to walk you through all three. The first is a window. When you can see 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out, 12 weeks out, 3 months out, where a cash dip may happen, or there's time to generate revenue, or there's some sort of launch, or you need to have a customer conversation, or you're pushing a hire through. When you can see it coming, you can see the up and the down at slower speed than you do when you're in it in the moment. The second is where you can, with cash flow visibility, where you can hire. Great decision making around this. Can I afford this person is a question your bank balance really cannot answer, no matter how much hard you look at it. And most women are answering from that balance today. However, you got to pay that person month over month, particularly if you want them on your team and you want to have them stay with you. And you're just hoping that in 3 months, goodness, I hope I guessed right that I'll have enough money. So with the forward view, you can stop guessing and you start seeing. And you see the number across the next 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, and you hire like a CEO. The third one I'm leaving you with is a question, because it's the one I really want you to sit with after you finish this podcast. So this is it. When was the last time you made a money decision in your business and you felt calm about it? It felt grounded. Think about that, because everything is cause and effect, and calm was an effect. So what was the cause? What allowed you to create that effect? This is where Stellium, the financial leadership platform and decision-making tool I am building, will also support you. So stay tuned. And because we women have outgrown our spreadsheets and we can't justify a full CFO right these days. So I'm building a way to see forward that runs on the one number every week that you need to see, instead of waiting on a report that you don't understand or a person to tell you it's okay. We will give you the number. But I want you to hear the rest of this first, because I want to tell you about a client of mine named Angie, because I've watched this really go the whole distance. When she came to me, her group practice was about, I think it was like mid 300,000. She had about 3 clinicians on her team, and she ran it financially exactly the way I described it at the top of this episode. Off the bank balance, constant low panic, and then making decisions about people's salaries and contractor payments and hourlies, basically with her eyes closed. And this is how a lot of women feel with their money, that their eyes are closed around it. Meanwhile, they're running businesses that their eyes are wide open. So the first time we built her forward view and she could see 90 days out, she was speechless. And this girl's not a speechless kind of girl. And then she said, I've never really seen my own business before like this. And 3 years later, she is at $897,000 projected for this year. And in the 3 years we worked together, we rarely open her P&L statement in a session. We lead and make decisions about her money together from the cash flow forecast. And a healthy P&L and a healthy balance sheet naturally grows out of that on their own. And the thing that she says now is that she trusts herself more and more every day with the money, which is the only outcome I really, really care about. So the goal is never to know more about your money. And the moment you feel that the whole thing gets lighter is because what you're building here is the ability to trust your own knowing in the one place most women were taught their knowing couldn't be trusted: money. So here's what I want you to do, and it's small. I built a short assessment, 3 minutes, and it gives you a number. It gives you your cash flow visibility score and a straight answer, because that's how I roll, about where you actually stand. I wrote all 4 possible results myself, and I made sure there is no shame or judgment in any of them because we don't have room for that here. Most women already feel where they land before they start. You already know. And the assessment gives that feeling a name and a number that you get to work with. It's in the show notes. Take it tonight while the feeling of this episode is still with you. And if your result makes you want to see what your own forward view would actually look like, there's a link at the end of it. I'm sitting down with a small group of women founders right now, building this with them. And if you've been nodding through this whole thing, that group of women is who I built it for. You already know more than you've been letting yourself look at. I'm just telling you. And the looking part is what's been missing. And you can actually start looking tonight. And I have your back. So until next time, remember, you were made for money.